The Korean War was a war between North and South Korea that lasted 3 years, from 1950 to 1953, and yet the consequences are still seen today. Before the Second World War, Korea was one unified nation that was under the rule of the Japanese Empire. After the victory of Japan in the Russo-Japanese War in 1905, Japan's totalitarian government gained control over Korea. But after the fall of Japan at the end of World War II and the atomic bombings at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan lost control of their colonies, including Korea. The Allied forces decided to enter the Japanese colonies to help recover their governments. Subsequently, the Soviet Union occupied the northern part of Korea, as they saw this as an advantage in the Cold War that was also happening at this time. The US did not like the idea of the Soviet Union occupying Korea, as they were against the Soviets' communist movements and also came to Korea. The country was roughly divided into by a borderline called the 38th parallel, with the Soviets in the north and the US in the south. The US tried to help the Koreans set up their government but could not come to a solution. This caused the US to go to the United Nations for help. The UN passed a resolution to Korea's problem, in which elections were to be held across the country. This decision was not supported by the Soviet Union, and so they boycotted these elections. This meant that there were no elections in the north. An anti-communist politician named Syngman Rhee was elected as president on August 15, 1948, and South Korea was declared a nation under the name of the Republic of Korea. Almost a month later, on September 9th, North Korea, with the name the Democratic Republic of Korea, was established with an Army General Kim Il-sung as the leader. This division of Korea into North and South greatly impacted both nations. Resources were split, as many were found mainly in the North, while others were found mainly in the South. This had detrimental effects on both countries' economies. Both sides wanted to reunify, but they had differing political views that prevented them from doing so. On January 17, 1950, the leader of North Korea, Kim Il-sung, acquired the support of Russian leader Joseph Stalin and Chinese leader Mao Zedong for his plan to liberate South Korea from U.S. colonialism and imperialism. This led to the start of the Korean War on June 25, 1950, when around 100,000 North Korean troops crossed the 38th parallel. North Korea was supported by China and the Soviet Union, while South Korea was supported by the U.S. and the United Nations. The war goes on for 3 years, with North Korea capturing the capital of South Korea twice, and as far as the Pusan perimeter. Peace negotiations started on July 10, 1951, but the war still went on for 2 more years. At the end, the South Korea side was able to recapture the capital and reacquired almost all of their territory up to the 38th parallel. The war ended when Mark Clark from the UN, Peng Duhui from China, and Kim Il-sung of North Korea created an armistice declaring a demilitarized zone along the 38th parallel. This armistice was basically a truce between North and South Korea, not a peace treaty, and oddly was never signed by President Syngman Rhee or any representative from South Korea. On the surface, it seems that the Korean War was caused by pre-existing tension between North and South Korea. Some more major causes of the war actually had little to do with Korea. Some people consider the Korean War to be an episode in the Cold War, which was a period of great tension between the Soviet Union and the US. Both nations were competing to spread their influence around the world, and so they saw the acquisition of Korea to be beneficial. This war also had great effects on Korea and the entire world. It caused the division of the Korean peninsula, the death of millions, and created hostility between China and Russia and the US, which can still be seen today. The Korean War was not only the division of Korea, but was also a demonstration of the hostility between communist and anti-communist powers. After the war, the US had acquired extreme anti-communist sentiments, and likewise, communist powers such as Russia and China acquired anti-capitalist sentiments. This event really shaped the modern world in terms of politics, as it was essential in creating the tension between communists and capitalists. This tension is ongoing between the two opposing political views and is the basis of many political disagreements today. This is why the Korean War has a lasting legacy in our world today.